Good evening, and it's so lovely to be here in Berlin. It's actually been a gorgeous day. The sun has been shining. It's been a blue sky, not even a cloud in the sky. And it's been about 32, 33 degrees. So it's a very chilled, relaxed vibe. And the music here is making everyone feel very, very chilled out.
Ist ein Schlawiner, die versteckt sich hinter der Kamera und obwohl sie so entzückend aussieht, kann niemand sie sehen. Genau.
So we're looking forward to having our panel arrive quite soon, and we're going to have a very interesting evening looking at all the conflicts that exist in the world out there, in the world in here, and how we build bridges, how we move towards a better world for us all.
Very warm welcome to all of you. It has been a very hot day and it's great to see all of you here despite of all the other things you could be doing. This evening has been prepared with a lot of care and engagement from many people, and we are very happy that it's happening now. Before we start and before I hand over to our wonderful moderator, I would like to ask you a question. So since we have representatives of science and leadership and spirituality, I would like you to think about which of the three is the area where you feel most connected to. And just take a moment and think about it, and then turn to the partner next to you and share for a minute or two. Our moderator for tonight, Philippa worked for the BBC for 20 years as a broadcaster and a documentary maker. Thank you, Philippa, for coming.
And what a pleasure it is to be here with all of you on this beautiful summer's day in Berlin. And before I launch us into our topic, I thought I can't come to Berlin and not share with you a story that has gone down in my family annals. Back in the 80s, when my mother suddenly decided that we were all going to start eating healthy foods. For the purposes of this story, the most significant change was from white refined sugar to healthy brown muscovado sugar, which often clumped together in big lumps. So much so that you would have to use a knife to break it into small pieces so that you could put it on your breakfast cereal. My mother happened to be in Berlin 2 days after the fall of the Berlin Wall. And she watched people as they brought the wall down, and she decided to bring back a memento of this historic moment. So she filled a bag with some of the rocks and stones and the dust that had fallen from the Berlin Wall, and she carried it back to the UK. And she arrived quite late at night, so she put her memory of the Berlin Wall in a bowl on the breakfast table with the intention of sharing with us all the following day what this was. But she had a bit of a lie-in because it was a late flight that she got back. And my dad got up early for his breakfast in order to go to work. And he came down and he put his muesli in a bowl. And then he reached out for what he believed to be sugar. And we were all able to go to school that day and tell the news that our dad had eaten the Berlin Wall. So how do we build bridges over the many troubled waters in our lives? Where are we now? Where are we going? And how are we going to get there? So please put your hands together and welcome our panelists to the stage. Sister Jayanti, and she is the additional administrative head of the Brahma Kumaris, which is the largest spiritual organization in the world for men and women to be led by women.
I'd like to begin with a greeting of peace. Om Shanti. Om means I am, and Shanti means peace. And if there's one word that can become a bridge, it is Om Shanti.
Christian Greiser is an executive coach and advisor, drawing on over 30 years of coaching and strategy consulting.
We all know we are living in an era of intense change. And Otto Scharmer, a professor at MIT, has described these challenges in terms of three divides: the divide between ourself and nature, the divide between ourself and others, and the divide within ourselves. And to me, true leadership is about bridging these divides. It's about restoring harmony. Harmony with the earth, harmony with each other, and harmony within ourselves.
Professor Dr. Mark Lawrence has a background in atmospheric science. And for 11 years, up until 2022, Mark was the scientific director for the Institute for Advanced Sustainability Studies.
So as a leader of a research institute for sustainability, indeed a question that I've gotten asked occasionally over the years is, how can I live sustainably? It's not so easy, but it has an answer that sounds almost as easy. You can't. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
If I think about civilization as a whole, in terms of history, when there's a group of people who hold values in high esteem and strive to follow those values in their lives, then you have a world in which the arts can flourish, new discoveries are made, and there are many advances that happen. And where values have been forgotten, and it's selfish motives that drives the civilization, that civilization heads to a collapse. Where do you think we are at today? And so I think that because we've seen the result of the lack of values, we're now beginning to appreciate why we need to come back to values again.
Sister Jayanti, what does the far side of the bridge look like for you?
I'm convinced that the goodness of humanity will be what wins. And so when human beings are in touch with themselves and they allow their own original intrinsic qualities to emerge within themselves and express them, in terms of their activity, their behavior, their relationships, not only with each other, but also with all forms of life and nature itself, I think what we then see is a world of perfect harmony. And I don't think it's a dream or even just a vision. I think that we are moving in that direction and it'll become a reality.
So let's move now into our final meditation. We've talked a lot about the power of the mind to bring about change. So let's experience this sense of becoming a friend of our mind and turning within. And I'd like to ask Sister Jayanti to just guide us with her thoughts as we have this time together.
I would suggest that you sit with both feet on the ground so that the body is comfortable and balanced, and just sit as you are, naturally, comfortably. You can keep your eyes open and just look straight ahead, or you can keep your eyes closed, and there's value in both. I reflect on the things I've been hearing about. I reflect on the being that I am, the inner being, a being filled with goodness, a being filled with truth, a being of light.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you very much, Sister Jayanti. Thank you, Mark Lawrence. Thank you, Christian Greiser. And thanks to all of you as well for coming and adding your energy to this beautiful event. It's been very special. And I hope you've taken something of inspiration that you can carry away with you. And if that is the case, we would love to capture your thoughts and inspirations after hearing everything this evening. And we're going to have a little camera and microphone set up at the back of the hall here. So if you'd like to come and share with us what you would like to remember from this evening, then do please come and find us.
Please feel free. We prepared something, some sweet and also a positive thought for everyone. And Sister Jayanti, you will give these?
So thanks again from me, from all of us here to all of you. Keep thinking about what difference each of us can make as you move forwards in your lives. And we look forward to maybe being together again one day soon. Good night. So, a lot to digest. What are your thoughts and feelings?
Well, first, it's actually, my stomach was doing a lot too. So I think the feeling was really touched and the connection felt. So, I mean, it's like wonderful, wise, beautiful people. It was really impressive. So it was a collection of wisdom and, of course, with a spiritual leader here a little bit holding us yeah, in her arms. Yeah.
Also für mich war der Abend sehr erfahrungsreich und sehr, sehr spannend. Was ich vor allem mitgenommen habe, ist positiv in die Zukunft zu blicken und einfach aus einer Erfahrung von innerer Ruhe zu kommen und dadurch eben eine positive Vision auch zu haben. Weil für mich ist es oft schwierig, positiv zu bleiben, wenn man so über die Nachhaltigkeitsprobleme nachdenkt oder die die Probleme, die allgemein in unserer Welt bestehen. Ich finde, das hat Sister Jayanti richtig gut rübergebracht, so ein Gefühl von Positivität und genau, und dann hier auch zu sehen, die Verbindungen zwischen den einzelnen Themenfeldern, die wir heute hatten, also von Nachhaltigkeit zu Wissenschaft, zu Führung, wie das auch wirklich zusammenhängt, wie wir Brücken bilden können und so zusammen in eine wunderschöne und positive Welt gehen können.
The evening was great, needless to say. Looking at the panel, it covered all the ways a mind can think and all the ways we need to think to solve a problem. There was academia, there is leadership and business, and then there is spirituality, and of course moderated by a journalist. So I couldn't have asked more. And I think the way I like this mix is we need academia to think about problems, and we need spirituality to inspire that need to think, to go into that direction. And then we had business where all these thoughts come into the market so that people can exchange values in a good way. So I would go home and sit with myself to engage in spirituality so the right thoughts come. And I would use those thoughts to think, study material so that I have a basis of what to do. And when I have an intention based on science, I would like to create a business model around sustainability or spirituality too.
Richtig viel Hoffnung, weil hier Menschen auf der Bühne gesessen haben, die aus Bereichen kommen, die vor wenigen Jahren noch so als unzugänglich für Spiritualität galten. Und das aus den 50-plus-Jahren vom Meditationszentrum in London es mittlerweile bei der Boston Consulting Group angekommen ist, sich mit Managern in Unternehmen über Bewusstsein, über Achtsamkeit auszutauschen. Das finde ich unglaublich ermutigend. Ich bin in der Politik und ich träume seit 50 plus Jahren davon, dass wir so eine Fusion zwischen politischen Entscheidungsprozessen und Spiritualität herbekommen, die sich selber entwickelt. Und da gibt es gerade noch sehr, sehr, sehr starke Widerstände. Und gerade das Thema Empathie, das wir heute angesprochen haben, ist etwas, was ja sogar gerade als kontraproduktiv oder als den Gesellschaftsbedürfnissen entgegenstehend betrachtet wird. Und dann von Sister Jayanti zu hören, nee, das Gute wird am Schluss doch gewinnen. Das gibt einem dann in dieser etwas trostlosen, traurigen, zum Teil auch wirklich deprimierenden Zeit der Hartherzigkeit, des Machtbewusstseins, des Gewinnenwollens, des völligen Ausblenden der Menschlichkeit der anderen nochmal Hoffnung, dass es sich vielleicht auch nochmal verändert. Und ich nehme ganz klar mit, dass wir die Gespräche viel stärker in die Politik hineintragen müssen. Und ich hoffe, dass wir da als Team zusammenbleiben. Danke.
Om Shanti.